Okay. Alright, mic is on. Good morning, afternoon, evening, everybody. Today we are doing the much anticipated sequel to my VTuber decks. I decided to make some VTuber decks after Hollow Live, and I didn't do Sana, I kind of just forgot, but at the same time, I don't know, I just can't think of a deck that's better suited to her, and the one deck I did think of just was better for someone else entirely. So I was like, you know what? I think I'll end it there. And so for like basically a month, zilch, nada, nothing, nanimonai. But we are here today to make NIJISANJI decks, everybody. We are here to do some NIJISANJI gaming. As I wouldn't say connoisseur, but connoisseur of NIJISANJI. I am very hyped to embark on this, and I'm going to enable desktop audio. So if any of you guys have suggestions or things that you'd like to be added into the decks, then we can do that. But hey, let's first off start with Lazulight. So first member of Lazulight we're going to be doing is going to be Elira, because I have a very good idea of what this deck would be. So let's talk about the little gimmick I have in mind for Ewiwa, our local dragon, right? So if you remember in her debut, she made a very dumb joke. She made a D's nuts joke using the word dragon. Now we already know we have to play a dragon deck, but what's a deck that can have a D's nuts joke, if anything at all? Introducing Dogmatica, because their localization name, right, is Dogmatica, but their name in the OCG is Dragma. I think you can tell the joke here. Dragma nuts on your face. So we're going to be making a Dogmatica deck with dragons. But what kind of dragon deck, right? Most dragon decks rely on the extra deck. Dogmatica locks you out of it. So, excusez-moi? What deck are we playing with Ewiwa, right? So I will propose Starry Night. Now, it says Starry Night, right? So you might think, well, that's not dragon-based. But they're Moss Monster, right? Now, if you can filter through where it is. Where is it? Fuck's sake. AO? Where is it? Okay. Let me search it up real quick. Starry Dragon, I guess. This is a deck themed after Starry Night, Starry Dragon. Kind of looks like Elira, to be honest, right? It's got that aesthetic, got that dragon dog in her, you know. So we're gonna be playing Dogmatica Starry Night, right? Dogmatica Seiryu, essentially, and also have some extra deck monsters, but it's mainly a main deck strategy. So part of the fun of the stream is that we're gonna be learning how all these decks work in the first place together, right? Ambos estamos aquí con whoever the I don't know how to speak Spanish, right? So of course we have to put 3 copies of Starry Night, Starry Dragon. I don't know how else to play this deck. So let's see, Starry Night, Starry Dragon, right? It's a card that can pop on summon, and it can also banish stuff during end phase. It also it's immune to destruction against darks. That's cool. Next, Starry Night Balefire. This is a searcher. We're playing this guaranteed. Starry Night Orbitail. Nah, I don't know about that. Estelle. We have Seal. We have Flamel. Where's the really good one? The one that searches. Hold on, let me click related, right? Starry Night Rail, yeah. So 3 Starry Night Rail, this thing searches, right? Next, Starry Night Flamel. When your opponent's monster declares an attack, you can send this card from your hand or face up field to the graveyard, special summon us. Okay, okay. This is like a 1 of or 2 of, I think. Next, Starry Night Estelle. Quick effect, target a light monster you control, tribute it, and if you do, special summon a level 7 dragon monster from your hand. Okay. And it gives them 1000s, right? This is going to be a 2 of. Okay, then Starry Night CL. If it's in your hand, return a Starry Night monster or level 7, and then special summon this card. If you control no monsters, banish this card from graveyard, summon a level 7. Okay. An extender. Right, so CL, 2 of. Now, Orbitail. This sets spell traps. So we're going to play 3 of it, just cause, right? Because it can set things like the Balefire, which is our searcher. Now, let's look at the other cards. Sky. Oh, shut up. Christ. My alarm for the stream just went over. Alright, so we're going to be putting in 3 copies of Starry Night Sky, because I think it's good, I guess. Field spells are always good, basically. Ceremony is you can reveal a fairy and add the Seiryu. Okay, that's good. We're playing 3 of it because I'm lazy. Blast. When your opponent activates card effect, return a Seiryu for a negate. Okay, 2 of. And then Arrival. I don't know what it does. Okay, 1 sec. Main phase, you can activate one of these effect, target a level 7 dragon monster you control, return to the hand. Or you can special summon a level 7 dragon. This is a 1 of, I think. So now that we have that out of the way, we can put in the Dogmaticas. So we're going to finish the deck, and then once we're done, then we'll start talking about why this makes sense, right? So, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 1, and then 1, 2, 3, because punishment is poggers. We'll also play a single copy of Titaniclad in the extract, or sorry, 2. And then, let's just play some Dogmatica punishment targets. So, Wind Pegasus. Alright. 1, 2, 3. We're going to play Skull Knight. And where, okay, please pop up. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to play Natis. Natis is going to, wait, what? No, it's not T, it's N. It's N apostrophe TSS. Yeah, there. 1, 2, 3. And then I guess 5-headed. And then just play some random shit there. 1, 2, 1, 2. Right? And then because we're based, we'll play some Maxi. Just for the funnies. So. Elira. Dragma nuts. Dragon my balls. Okay, so now that we have the deck built, that was really fast actually, let's explain, why does this fit Elira of all people? Well, Elira is a dragon. So, what's a dragon in Yu-Gi-Oh! That looks most like Elira in my opinion? That would be Starry Night, Starry Dragon. I mean, look at it. Look at it. It looks pretty, it looks like Elira, I think, right? At least it's white and dragonoid. It makes sense, right? And there's something about it, right, that kind of looks like Pickle. So, I'm just saying, there's the correlation. However, that's not all we have to this deck. For not only do we have this, which basically just summons itself to the field, pops cards, and then, without elaborating, just leaves, we also have the Dogmaticas. But why play the Dogmaticas? Well, the Dogmaticas originally in the OCG, their Japanese names, were Dragma. I think you can tell what I'm saying here. Dragma nuts across your face. But why Dragma? Why does this matter? Because Elira made a D's nuts joke in her debut, if I remember correctly. So I'll probably put this into the clip I make of the stream of the Elira deck portion, but dragging my balls. And so the Dogmaticas, what they do is simple. They're a bunch of spellcasters, whatever, and basically they just say, all my homies and I hate the extra deck. Fuck the extra deck, guys. That's the dumbest thing ever. And I mean, to an extent, I agree. So they all lock you out of the extra deck. They can send cards from the extra deck to the graveyard to do things. They also have the trap, which is basically just... Oh, wait, I added the wrong trap. Okay, I added the wrong trap. Give me a sec. Where's punishment? Where is it? Hello? Yeah, here. We have the trap, which allows you to send extra deck monsters to then pop cards on the field with less attack or equal attack. So we have resident cards like 5-headed Link Dragon and 5-headed Dragon, which are huge. We also have cards that are beneficial to send to the graveyard from the extra deck. So things like Elder Entity Natis, which pops more cards, Skull Knight, which pops more cards, and Titaniclad, which lets you summon more Dogmaticas from the deck, and Wind Pegasus that shuffles cards. And so, with both these archetypes interacting, and the fact that the Starry Knights don't really need the extra deck to function, we have a meh competent deck. So, we've made the Elira, the Dragma Nuts, or the DRAGMABALLS deck, right? We have the Poggers, we have the Poggywoggies, right? So, we have that done. Okay, I'm gonna go. There's some new unreads in my server. Hold up. I'm in the Discord. Alright then. So, I guess we already kind of made the deck. That was actually pretty fast. That was actually pretty poggers. So, while we've made the first deck, right? That's pretty good. Let's move on to another member, right? And this is the member I've had an idea for a long time. I think you might know who it is. And it is, of course, let me turn off. It's Pomu. I'm Pomu, right? But what deck could we play Pomu with? Well, what do you know about Pomu? She is a fairy. She is small and she is chaotic. She also can inflict the POMUGMA virus. Now I'll play the clip above, right? But the Pomu virus, POMUGMA. Yeah. So I wanted to incorporate these two into my idea. I already made this deck like in my head before. It's just that I haven't actually like put it down on paper yet. So I had an idea. We're gonna play a deck called Trickstar Virus. Why? Because the Trickstars, while they are Cybers monsters, they look like fairies, so close enough. And the viruses, because they're toxic, they're also the viruses like POMUGMA. So with the idea in place, let's go ahead and make this deck. So with this deck, we are gonna have to, okay, let's see. Candina, fucking guaranteed. Korobane, if you control monsters or all monsters you control are. Hello, Chii. I appreciate you dropping in, eating dinner right now. I appreciate it. You can drop in once you're done, or just not. For the viewers here, by the way, who don't know, this is open call on a Discord server, so it is what it is. You just finished cooking. Ayo, you let me know. When you hop on call, you let me know what you're eating, my guy. I need to know. I am the food connoisseur. So, currently, Chii, you know what? I'll run you through what we've done so far. We've made the Elira deck, right? It's a really stupid D's nuts joke. Let me show you what it's all about. So first of all, we need to play a deck that has dragons, right? So, what's a dragon in Yu-Gi-Oh! That looks like Elira? Well, the closest I got is Starry Night Star Dragon. Oh, hello, Green. I'm lurking, still working. Might hop on BC a bit later. I appreciate it, dude. You can also just not hop in. That's all right. If you can't make it, then don't worry, don't sweat. But hey, I appreciate it. But hey, for people who weren't here, so this dragon over here is pretty symbolic of Elira. It looks like her, right? But what else could we put in this deck that adds a little spice? Introducing the archetype called the Dogmatica. Now, the Dogmatica, the reason why they're so important is because they're a D's nuts joke, right? Now listen over here. Listen over here. Their deck was called Dragma in the OCG in Japan. Can you tell the D's nuts joke? DRAGMABALLS, right? So, and guess what kind of joke Elira made in her debut? Dragging my balls. So, we made a Dogmatica Starry Night deck. Silver Eyes White Dragon. Close enough, I guess. Close enough. So, the whole purpose of this deck is to summon your Starry Night Starry Dragon, put it back in your hand, summon it again, and do it again and again. And it can banish cards, it can destroy cards, whatever. It's not that potent of a strategy, but the Dogmaticas help this by using things like Dogmatica Punishment in order to send cards from the extract to the graveyard and just destroy things. And these cards that you send to the graveyard can do things like summon more Dogmaticas. They can do things like pop more cards, etc. vice versa. Drag my balls. Yay, you're getting it. You're getting it. That's the joke. That's the funnies. So, with that in mind, that's the deck TLDR, right? Now we're currently trying to make a Pomu deck, and the idea I had was, I remember watching this one clip of Pomu saying she's got the Pomu virus, and also them calling it POMUGMA. So I wanted to make a deck incorporating the viruses and fairies, but the closest I could get were Trickstars. Oh wait, yeah, they are fairies, never mind. We're gaming, we're Gucci. Okay, the Trickstars are fairies. Pog. I actually didn't notice. Okay, so the Trickstars, they're fairies, just like Pomu, and their whole shtick is that they deal damage to your opponent by just doing anything, right? Does your opponent activate a card? Literally, does your opponent move? Does your opponent breathe? Minus 200 life points. So, hello, Kendra Lennon. I haven't seen you in stream before. Welcome to the stream. I hope you have a good time. So, again, you can watch over the VOD or just go previously into, I think, the stream right now. I do think I allow playback. But we've made an Elira deck already. It was Dogmatica and Starry Night. We're currently making Pomu. So we're making Trickstars mixed with viruses. So let's just fill up this deck, right? So we'll put in some Korobane because it's really good. I'm not sure how you play this deck, but I'm still playing it, right? Licorice is fine, I think. We'll play triple Licorice. Next. Alright, we gotta read, for fuck's sake. We gotta actually read these cards. So, we got Korobane, we got Rodode. You can discard a Trickstar card, then target a Trickstar link in your graveyard, special summon it. Interesting. I think we can put a couple of these, right? Trickstar Narcissus. Narcissus, alright then. Trickstar Narcissus. If your opponent takes effect damage, you can special summon this card from your hand. That's actually a really good extender, because you're burning all the time. All the time, every day. Every day, all day. Trickstar Mandrake. If it's sent from the hand to the graveyard, you can special summon this card. It's only good off the discard, but I think one of is fine. Lily Bell. If it's added to your hand, except by drawing it, special summon. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're adding this off of the copy of, I think, Candina. So we can play a couple copies of this. This seems like it's the worst, so we're playing one because it's only if it's sent to the graveyard. Next, we gotta find some Trickstar cards and play them. So let's see, Trickstar Festival. Special summon 2 Trickstar tokens. You cannot normal summon or special summon monsters that turn you activate this card. Except, okay, this is a little ass, so we're not playing it. Right? Trickstar Magical Laurel, target a Trickstar in your graveyard, special summon it. It's a reborn. It's aight. Playing Double Light Stage. This thing is nuts. For sure. And Reincarnation, this thing is also stupid. We have to play it. So, there's this really funny tech that you can play in Trickstars if you play Droll. So, how does it work? Right? Well, basically, what Droll says is that if your opponent adds stuff to the hand one time, then you can activate it in your hand and basically say, oh, you added things once, you can't do it again for the rest of the turn. And then we have Trickstar Reincarnation, which basically just says, void your entire opponent's hand and then make them redraw. But if you've activated Droll and Lockbird, that means if you void your opponent's entire hand, they aren't allowed to refill it. So you basically just say, haha, goodbye to your hand. Gone. Thanos snapped, right? So that's like the funnies. That's like the kind of idea we got going over here. So we're playing a sort of quirky, we got some quirky shenanigans going on. But the other thing I wanted to play in this deck were the viruses. Now the problem with the viruses is that they need dark monsters, right? So this needs a 2500 or higher attack dark monster. We have Deck Devastation Virus, it needs a 2000 or higher dark monster. We have Cell Explosion Virus, that's not actually that bad. This is an alien card, that's okay, a little cringe. Grinning Grave Virus, Look, I know for sure that we're playing Eradicator Epidemic, but what else is kind of weird? Oh wait, we could play the Codebreakers. That could be really, really quirky actually. Before that though, we need to play some Trickstar Link monsters. So, let's play, I guess, triple Holly Angel, double Crimson Heart, double Devardis, double Foxglove. I barely know how any of these work, so I'm just going to be putting in like one of some of these. Yeah, I think I'll just keep these there. Because the way we're going to use the viruses is we're going to be playing some Link monsters that are darks. So Unchained. We're going to be playing Unchained Abomination. A couple copies of that. Then the Codebreakers, because I think they might work. We got Codebreaker Virus Swordsman, 2 effect monsters. It's a dark, 2300. Got Codebreaker Zero Day. Again, I gotta think about this. Okay, so we can play triple of this, and then we can play couple, and then single, right? I'm just gonna like make that a lazy package. And so we're gonna then play some more viruses. Let's see, so we have Full Force Virus, tribute a dark monster 2000 or more defense. Oh, okay, no, defense doesn't work. 3000 less attack, your opponent chooses one card of their choice in their hand for every 500 attack monster you have on the field. If you tributed a monster with 2000 or more attack to activate this card, look at all cards your opponent draws until the end of their third turn after the card's activation. Destroy all monsters among them. Funny. I'll play one of this. Next, Deck Devastation Virus. So tribute a dark monster with 2000 or more attack. Look at your opponent's hand. All monsters they control and all cards they draw are destroyed 1500 or less attack. Based. Okay. I think we know what we're doing. Then we're going to play Trap Trick. Alright. 1, 2, 3. And then we just have other cards to fill. So Ash, I guess. 1, 2, 3. And then Maxi. Alright. We've made the Pomu deck. We're Pomu, everyone. Pog. Alright then. So, now, let's explain how does the Pomu deck work, right? For those who need a bit of a TLDR. So, Pomu, she's a fairy, and she also mentioned in a clip, it'll play on screen when I edit this as a clip, the Pomu virus, POMUGMA. So I decided let's incorporate fairies, toxicity, and viruses in a single deck. And that's why we have It's Pomu, the Pomu Trickstar virus deck. What's the deck's goal? Very simple. You burn your opponent out with Trickstars, you void their entire hand using Trickstar Reincarnation, Trap Trick, and Drone Lockbird whenever you can. But lastly, you make Link monsters like Unchained Abomination or the Codebreaker Virus Berserkers and whatever with your copies of Zero Day in the deck to then use your cards like the viruses, which require you to tribute dark monsters for cost. So like Grinning Grave, which basically gets rid of all your opponent's low attack monsters, or Eradicator Epidemic, which tributes dark monsters to then basically say, hey, does your opponent have a certain type of card? Fuck that card in particular for the next 3 turns, right? And so what we do is we spam monsters on the field, we burn your opponent for lots of damage, and then when we can make things like Unchained Abomination, use that to then make Eradicated Epidemic, and then just burn them out, and basically just say, haha, fuck you. Indeed, it is the Pomufication. We're Pomu, everyone. So, we've made the Pomu deck. Pog. Let's go ahead and save this real quick, because we might actually play these decks at some point, right? Let's create the Finana deck for now. Feesh deck. So, I'm aware that Finana has played a deck that is very Feesh. It is called Mermail. But I don't know how Mermails work, so we're going to instead think of another deck. And I have a very interesting idea. How about we play Deep Sea Ice Jade? Very weird idea. Let's actually think of how we can execute that. So, Deep Sea, let's see what monsters we have available to us. So I have Deep Sea Sentry. Sent to the graveyard to activate a water monster effect. You can make your opponent banish a card in their hand or face up. Okay. Because the idea is we're going to use Deep Sea Diva and stuff to then just do some synchro stuff. Is there a card that transforms your enemy card into something else? I don't think so, actually. Right? Like, theoretically, there are cards that transform effects, but we can't, like, transform things. What we can do is remove something and then replace it with something else, but not, like, directly transform it. Like, we have, let's say, I don't know, something in Magic the Gathering. So, we can't really do that, to my knowledge, IIRC, Chii. So we can't really, like, turn people into Pomu, for example. But we're playing Deep Sea for sure. So, triple Deep Sea Diva, a copy of Prima Donna. Let's see, Deep Sea Repetitor. Once per turn, score a level 4 lower water monster, gains a higher attack, single summons in the graveyard, target a level 5 or higher water monster in the grave, summon in defense. Okay, hold up. I got an idea. I have an idea. Oh, it's a little quirky, actually. Oh, it's quite quirky. So, let's see. Let's find Deep Sea Aria real quick. Oh, we can't filter through related. That's cringe. Alright then. Gurnards. Alright. Ooh, because in lore there's a card that turns other people's cards into something else. Oh, in Legends of Runeterra. I've tried playing that before. I don't know if... I haven't gotten to that point yet, but there's no such thing as like a transfiguration mechanic in Yu-Gi-Oh! IIRC. Again, I'll have to emphasize if I remember correctly. So let's see, I'll play a couple copies of this, actually. I think Fish Sonar might work. Fish Sonar? Maybe. I'm a little doubtful. Oh, okay, this is not the right kind of fish. It's Umi. Actually. I think we can be a little quirky. How about instead of playing regular Feesh, let's play Toxic Feesh. So I remember Finana playing Drytron at one point, which is a little toxic, not gonna lie. Hero Drytron, she was evil laughing. You know, that sort of quirky shit, right? But what if we just play Umi? Umi control. So, let's just play Umi control. Yeah, why don't we? Oh, that's funny. Okay, I believe you play like a couple copies of this, because I thought about how transforming IRL mechanic would work IRL TCG. Yeah, that's the thing. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is kind of limited because of that. Magic, I think, does have it, but I don't know how they really manage their transfiguration thingy. So it's a little quirky like that. Not gonna lie, it's a little weird. But Yu-Gi-Oh! For sure. Konami's lazy. There's some lazy bitch asses, so they really are doing that sort of stuff. Let's see. So we're playing Kairyu-Shin. We're playing copies of Fortress Whale. What else do we play? Electric Jellyfish, Doom Kraken, sure. And we also have to play other Umis, right? So, let's see. I need to actually look up a deck list for Umi. Actually, you know what? How about let's have some fun? How about instead, let's just figure out how we can make an Umi deck on our own. I think that'd be really funny. Okay. Let's do that then. So, Let's see. We have all these cards already. I'm not generating these, not yet. Let's see. Fury of Kairyuu Shin. Oh wait, that's based. This search is torrential. Pog. Let's see. A legendary ocean, yes. Poggers. Then Kairyuu Shin's Dark Reef. Okay, sure. This seems like a good card. You have Forgotten Temple of the Deep. Uh-huh. I'll just put 2 of this. I don't know what it does. Full honesty, I don't know what it do. Next, I'm pretty sure your Hero of the Aqua is pretty good. Hold up, I should just go look at Umi first. Let's get Umi and just filter through related. Yeah, because there's this thing, Warrior of Atlantis. 1 a legendary ocean. Yeah, exactly. Pog. Okay. We got a searcher. Uh-huh. Now, we got a... I think we play C Stealth Attack, right? I think we do. C Stealth Attack or Stealth Attack 2? Stealth Attack is also treated as Umi. Okay. Let's just look up Stealth Attack. 1, 2, 3. Then we're gonna search for Torrential. And then we're gonna just search for a bunch of floodgates. Honestly. Honest to God. Just floodgates, man. 1, 2, 3. And then let's just put in, I guess, Ash and Maxi. That's always good. That's always Poggers. Alright. And then we're cooking. We're kind of cooking right now. Goes in. Oh, we have level 4s for days. Oh, snap. Alright then. What other floodgate can we play? That's not very good, but okay. Summon Limit. Sure, we can play Summon Limit. We can get a little quirky. Right? 1, 2. And then Kraken. I want to put an element of Kraken control. And we'll also play Bahamut Toad. So we'll find Bahamut Shark, then Toad. And at this point, I think I'm lazy enough to just kind of say, let's call it quits, right? We got Mega Fortress Whale, we got Ocean Dragon Lord Kairyuu Shin, we got Electric Jellyfish, we got Doom Kraken, Warrior of Atlantis, right? We got the Umi shenanigans going on. We got the Floodgate with legs. This isn't a fish per se, but I'll call it a fish because I'm lazy. So, let's do the TLDR, shall we? So, because we're going to do the whole TLDR section, so whenever I clip this on YouTube or something, or make shorts out of it, it's easier to digest, but... So, we're making the deck for Finana, and while she's already made Mermail on stream before, I thought let's take a different route to Feesh this time. And also, let's take a little bit more of a toxic one, so we're playing Control. That is guaranteed. So, we're playing Umi Control, but I don't know how this deck is played. I just found the Umi cards, I just put in whatever I thought works, and we have this. So this deck revolves around keeping Umi on the field, and using cards like Ocean Dragon Lord Kairyuu Shin, which is basically just a walking floodgate. It's just Gozen match, but on a monster. Right? And it's also a searcher, and what it can search is cards such as Kairyuu Shin's Dark Reef. It can search things like the Temple of the Deep, whatever. It searches all this stuff, and also the deck has something such as Fury of Kairyuu Shin, where you can search things like Torrential and basically just shitpost your way through to victory. That's it. And because you have level 4s like Warrior of Atlantis, Doom Kraken, and Yorishiro, do I play Yorishiro? No, I don't. That's cringe. Okay. Alright, Yorishiro. Let's go. Let's play a single copy of Yorishiro. And with things like Yorishiro, you can make things like Bahamut Toad or Kraken. That's it. That's the deck. I don't know what I'm doing with this. So, we've made the Finana deck, regardless. I think that's based. I think we're cooking, right? So, what I think I'll do is I'm gonna actually go to the bathroom real quick. Give me a sec, alright? Chii, you're in the channel.
Yeah.
Wait. I did not notice.
Hi.
Wait, I can hear myself. Wait, what?
Oh, wait, let me see.
Oh, am I like... I can hear you from your side. Okay.
Hello.
Let's see. Do I have...
Hello.
I have echo. Okay, it'll be echo.
Echo cancellation?
Okay, I turned off Discord. I have desktop right now.
Yeah?
But I can still hear myself through you.
What do you call this? I'm using my earphones. I'm using my earphones right now because I don't have my microphone with me. So, that might be it. Wait, is my audio fine?
Your audio is fine. I can hear you just fine.
Uh-huh.
In chat, y'all can confirm, but do I have monitor on?
Probably.
No.
No, I think it's my earphones. I think it's my earphones. Wait, let me change.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Oh my god. Ah! No! Oh my god. My ass stupid. Thank you, Mert. I appreciate you pointing out my dumbassery. Ah, god, okay. There was also some really weird audio issues going on. I'm not sure. How about I enable Discord and disable desktop audio? Then, if she can join back in, come back. Yeah, we're a little quirky like that, Mert, not gonna lie. Okay, I'm pinging my boy over there. But I guess we can turn off the big webcam and simply, yeah, so Mert, I don't know how long you've been here, but we've made 3 decks so far. We have made a deck for Elira. This is a combination of Starry Night and Dogmatica. Starry Night because Starry Night Starry Dragon looks kind of like Elira, and Dogmatica because their OCG name is Dragma, and Elira made a DRAGMABALLS nuts joke on her debut, a D's nuts joke. So there you go. It's not good. The extra deck is entirely just punishment targets, but it is what it is, which is quite quirky, not gonna lie. So we have that deck. We have the deck for Pomu. It's Pomu. I think she mentioned at some point the Pomu virus. So I made Virus Trickstar because Pomu's a fairy, right? Virus is because you can make things like Unchained Abomination, you can Link Climb, and then you can trap trick out the viruses like Eradicator or Deck Devastation or even Grinning Grave. And also we're playing the Droll Reincarnation stuff, so you can tutor out the Reincarnation with the trap trick. No, you can't. Never mind. I'm an idiot. But you can still at least get the Deck Devastation viruses out. So, Eradicator Epidemic. So, we got some quirky shenanigans going on. Not gonna lie. But there's the Pomu deck. And then, Feesh. Finana. It is Umi control. But I have no idea how you play Umi control. So, the extra deck has nothing in it. It's just Kragan plus Bahamut Toad. Then some Floodgates, some Umi stuff, right? I don't understand how Umi works.
Minecraft?
I can hear myself again. Chii, I don't know what's going on.
It's probably me.
Huh. Why is there echo?
Wait a second.
Huh.
Yeah, I realized that as well. I don't know why. Something's wrong.
I am,
Wait, it's probably my end. I'll be right back again.
Okay, bet. Huh, okay, so does it happen while he's muted? I feel like if the Pomu deck activates a virus and loses if it doesn't. Wait, hold up. I think I'm stupid. Let me read your chat message again, Mert. It feels like the Pomu deck activates a virus and loses if it doesn't win you the game. That's true. If that doesn't win you the game, nothing will. But like at the same time, you're also still burning people. So I mean, there's that. It's still there, and you can also still just attack with lots of link monsters. Again, do I know how Trickstar decks work? No, I'm just playing a bunch of them. That's the fun as well. I haven't done much investigation for these decks other than the initial concept, right? Like what I'm going to play with the decks. So there's the rundown, right? And now we have to go and talk about the Obsydia decks. So first of all, we can talk about Rosemi sama, not Samama, alright? So we got to think of a deck for Rosemi. Let's see. I'm gonna look up on my phone real quick because there's some technical issues. But for some reason, my voice is echoed whenever my boy Chii enters call. So Discord echoing my voice. Otherwise, I don't know. Hold up, Chii. Have you turned off noise suppression? I think you might have because of the guitar thing. Hold up. Oh no. You're deafened too. I'm gonna go to this channel real quick. Are you still... Okay, Chii, do you still have, okay, no, he deafened again. Do you still have, fuck, what is it? Noise suppression off. Chii, please. I want to do this. Come on, dude. Come on, bud. Come on, sport. I just want to make some dumb things. Dumb decks. With my non-Yu-Gi-Oh friends. Gotta do some quirky shenanigans, not gonna lie. Come on, man. What the hell? Oh boy, technical issues. Wow. This might take a bit, honestly. Honest to God. Who the hell's Heart of Acid? Hold up. My stream elements is showing weird stuff. Oh, that's probably the person who subbed yesterday. Okay, poggers. Damn, bro, what the hell? Maybe that's the issue. Gonna have a little bit of water real quick. God damn. I guess I can still narrate the basic concepts of the deck I have in mind for Rosemi though. So basically what I have is Synchro Runick but with Rose Dragon. That's kind of the idea I got, basically speaking. But why why Runick? Because it's got to be a good deck and it's also recent, and I feel like a Rosemi would at some point play that deck. So okay, Chii, you're back in the channel. Hello?
Hello, hello, hello.
Okay, can I...
Working?
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. It's working, it's working. It's working, as in, I can't hear myself, let's go! Let's go! Okay!
So what I did was I just transferred to my phone instead. I just gave up.
You know what? It is what it is, I guess. But hey, you know what? That's Pog. How about you just go ahead and real quick introduce yourself to the stream for people who might not be aware of your existence.
Okay. Oh yeah, so hi everybody, my name is Fairchild, but everybody calls me, excuse me, I had to burp there, Chii. Everybody calls me Chii.
Yeah, so yeah, we got this Kusogaki.
Yeah, I'm the Kusogaki scientist VTuber. Yeah, Shota, that's it.
Yeah, so Chii is unaware of Yu-Gi-Oh's deviations and machinations, but that is why I am here to explain it in the form of something that anyone can understand. VTubers, right? So we've already...
Zero knowledge.
Yeah, let's go!
Yeah,
so,
let's go!
So we've already gone over all of Lazulight, so TLDR, Elira is basically just dragons plus DRAGMABALLS joke, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then we have Pomu, who... Have you seen the clip of the Pomu virus?
No, I don't know.
Yeah, so in like this one short or something, she was in VR and she was like dancing or something like, damn, I got the Pomu virus. It may give you a weird inclination to say I'm Pomu. I think that I'm coding. Yeah. So I integrated a fairy deck which likes to burn your opponent to death, and a bunch of virus trap cards which basically say, you know what? Fuck this card in particular, fuck this type of card in particular, and just basically says for the next 3 turns, no, just no. I do not consent to you using spell cards, or I do not consent to trap cards being used in this household. That is cringe. That is yikers, right? So that is the concept for the Pomu deck, and then for Finana, right? I decided to take a very different route. I decided to play a deck called Control. It is basically just saying, get this spell on the field. It's called Umi, which also means ocean. And as long as that's on the field, you can do a lot of shenanigans. Like, you can basically say, your opponent can only control one thing that isn't a water. It has to be water. Otherwise, no, fuck you. And it can also search for really stupid traps that basically say, hey, does someone put something on the field? Destroy everything. Destroy everything. Yeah. And it involves a couple of fishies. Because for some reason, a massive whale is considered a fish in this game. So, I don't know. Mega Fortress Whale fish? Sounds good.
Aren't they supposed to be mammals? I don't know. That's got
yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, they don't have a mammal class, do they?
It's Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yes, it is the haha funnies. So as long as it's vaguely water-based and has fins, I will consider it Feesh, and it's also a very toxic deck because it just locks your opponent out of stuff. So it's fitting, right? And I don't know how Umi decks work, like, at all. So it was interesting making a deck that I had no idea, like, how it works, right?
Neither do I.
Yeah. So now we're going to be making the Obsydia decks, starting off with Rosemi-sama.
Petra.
Oh.
Rosemi? I thought we were doing it debut order.
I mean, I don't know. I just chose to do Rosemi first. I mean, hey, look.
Okay, Rosemi.
All right then, Rosemi, right? So obviously, rose, plant, whatever. That's pretty obvious. But I wanted to play a variation of a currently meta deck, right? So basically, in Yu-Gi-Oh, I think I was talking about this to you in call before, but there's a bunch of ways to win, right? Like Exodia, you beat the shit out of your opponent, you literally just kill them. Or your opponent cannot draw any more cards, because at the beginning of every turn, you draw a card off the top of your deck. But if you can't do that, because there's no cards left, you lose. You're just dead. You're gone. Blech.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
So there are decks that artificially just remove cards off the top of your opponent's deck so that that process happens faster.
Oh.
So these are deck out decks. That's a little redundant, the wording, but you get what I'm saying, right? So
yes, I get it.
So there's a deck called RUNICK. It's a little toxic, right? And it's got a card that kind of looks like ENNA, but it's only vague, right? And basically, their whole shtick... Ah, yeah, sure. I'll pull it up on stream real quick.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be delayed, because I don't know how many seconds the stream is.
I think it'll be like 4 or something. But I'll whip up the
Okay.
picture of this card on my stream.
Okay. Did you pull it up yet?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, I don't know. You can keep talking, well,
Yeah.
so that the...
Okay, yeah. It's on my screen now. I'm watching the stream on my phone. Hugin the Runic Wings, right?
It's not yet on mine.
Okay.
There it is. Ah, okay, I remember this. I've
Yeah.
seen this before.
So basically, the whole shtick with Runic is that they have a lot of spells, right? These are called quick play spells. You can set them like they're traps and then use them during your opponent's turn, which is pretty cool, right? And their whole shtick is that they can basically do things like they can destroy your opponent's cards, they can draw cards for you, they can search things from your deck, and if they pull that effect off, they can then artificially remove the top few cards of your opponent's deck, right? Some arbitrary number. The number depends on the card itself, like some will only banish 1, some will then get rid of like 5, right? But the point is, they have an effect, and once that effect happens, they also get rid of the top few cards of your opponent's deck, right? And so basically, they can either do that, or they can choose to summon a fusion monster from your extra deck to your field, and these can be, they're like your little helpers. So like the Anna card, you can also summon another card called Munin, you can also summon another one called, what's it called? Gary, right? These are all like little animal helpers, right? So...
Yeah.
Yeah.
You lost me.
Yeah. So, basically, right, the way it works is it just gets rid of cards off your opponent's deck artificially so that it can speed up the process of, no, you're just dead, right? And
yeah, it's a funny tactic.
But it's actually consistent and or can actually win you games because it's competent. Because the card that you can...
What was the last time that you played that has the similar playstyle? I don't remember. It was something like the Skyrim deck, right?
Yeah, it is the Skyrim deck. This is the Skyrim deck. So...
Oh, it is!
Yeah, because the way it works is that instead of, you know, actually hitting your opponent's face for life points, it treats the opponent's deck as like a health bar. You're slowly whittling at it. Right? Yeah. So, and that's what I think is really interesting, right? So it's got all these cards that look like they have the first person perspective, right? So it's like you're fighting against a monster, you're helping NPCs and stuff. It's really cool. I really like the artwork of this deck. And so, yeah, every single card has two effects. They can either do a thing that gets rid of your opponent's deck, or they can summon a little helper for you for free that can kind of help you keep your things in rotation, right? But the reason why this deck is so powerful is because they have a certain spell, right? It's called Runick Fountain. It's a field spell, so it's different from most of the spells. It's built different, literally. You put it in a different zone, it stays there, it doesn't go to the graveyard, right? And it affects both sides of the field, right? So it's a field spell. Quite literally, it just affects the field. And what it does is that if you activate a runic spell, right? And if you can basically take a bunch of your runic spells in your graveyard and then put them back in the deck and then just draw a bunch to refill your hand. So it's kind of like you're using up ammo, then you're reloading. Yeah, so that's kind of the whole shtick with this, is that while it can fire up all these spells, its strength is that it can refill them immediately. And it can just do it again, and it can do it again multiple times during your turn, during your opponent's turn. It's really funny, right? But because people tend to play it with really toxic trap cards, it's hated. It's called toxic, which is very not fun, because I played this deck and it's really cool. I really enjoy its whole like gameplay loop thingy that's got going on with it.
How does this relate to Rosemi-sama?
So there's a version of this deck of Runick called Synchro Runick, right? So it basically just says, hey, we can take the monsters that you summon off your spells, like the little helpers, and we can use them to make synchro monsters. You know, they're white cards. How do you summon a synchro monster? You basically just add monsters levels and then send it to the graveyard, and then you can summon that monster from the extra deck. Again, like, are you vaguely aware of how fusion monsters work?
No.
Oh, okay.
0.
Okay. So, basically, right? You have your main deck. This is going to be interesting, explaining this to newbie, right? You have your main deck, right? You have your regular field. You have your regular deck, right? You can draw from it and everything. You draw it. If you deck out, right? If you can't draw more cards from the main deck, you lose, whatever. They're the cards that you mainly play with. But then you have this other deck. It's called the extra deck. And it's not a deck that you draw from. It's not a deck that you can shuffle, that you can you can look at it at any time at point in the game, right? And its function is that it's less of a deck and more like a repository. It's a repository of super powerful monsters that once you fulfill certain conditions, you can just summon them for free. They're kind of like champions in a sense. Yeah. So basically, right, all your helper monsters, they're a type of extra deck monster. They're fusion monsters. And normally fusion monsters, you have to have a spell, and then you have to have the required materials, right? What are the materials? Every card has them on their description, right? All fusion monsters say, oh yeah, you need these many monsters to make this fusion monster, right? And all the runic monsters, all their fusion monsters, are just, you can just cheat them out of the extra deck for free, right? Then you have the synchro monsters. They're a different color, and so let me get one out on screen real quick. It'll take a little bit to update. So tell me when you see it.
Okay.
But basically synchro monsters are a little different. Instead, all you have to do is send appropriate monsters from your field to the graveyard, right? As long as you have the appropriate monsters, that's fine. But what are the appropriate monsters? Well, all their levels have to add up to the monster of the thing you want to summon. So it's on my screen now on my phone. Can you see?
Still not yet on mine. Oh. I see you searching it. Okay, there we go. Baron de Fleur.
Yeah, so it's in your extra deck, right? And the way you summon this is you need to first get monsters on the field so that their levels equal 10.
Okay.
And then you just send it to the graveyard, and then just take this thing from the extra deck and then just plop it on the field, right? You have the materials, then you just put them in the graveyard and then just boom, slap it on the field. All quick and easy, quick and easy.
What does he do?
Well, Baron basically just, it has an effect called a negation, where if your opponent does something and you don't like it, you can say, I did not consent to this, homeboy, I do not like you doing that. I will activate this effect, and what'll happen is your effect just doesn't happen anymore, right? So for example, my opponent activates a card that says, hey, I'm gonna search so that I can play the game. If you have Barone on your field, you can just say, no, I'm going to activate this card in response to yours, and basically just say, no, that didn't happen anymore. So you negated that effect.
Basically, it's the how about no card.
Yeah, it's just no, I did not consent to this. Yeah, so this is actually interesting, right? The way Yu-Gi-Oh is kind of played is that you value preventing your opponent from playing the game, and you can do this by destroying their cards, by what we call disruption, right? This can vary from deck to deck, but the all reliable, right? The one type of disruption that never fails you is negation, because you don't need to be really like weird about it, like, oh, if I destroy this card they could do this. No, it just stops them entirely from using that card. So it's the good old reliable, right? So basically, Runick Synchro allows you to use your Runick helpers in order to help build synchro monsters like the Barone, right? And so there's a type of deck called Rose Dragon, which you can incorporate into Runicks to make them that makes it extremely easy in order to make, well, synchro monsters in Runick. So that's why I'm playing it, because Runick is competent and also can use Rose Dragon. Yeah, that's the connection.
So basically it's just a funnel to Rose Dragon.
This actually leads me to introducing this concept that I think it's really interesting. It's one of the more fun aspects of Yu-Gi-Oh in my opinion, which is like deck building, right? But so you have decks, right? They have their main win conditions, they have the things they want to do, and so there's this thing that you can do called engines, right? And what an engine is a collection of cards that does something, vaguely speaking, right? In the case of the Rose Dragons, they're an engine to facilitate just putting synchro monsters, because if you look at the synchro monsters, right? I'm gonna pull it up on my stream yet again. Tell me when you see the monster maximized.
Okay.
Yeah. Is my thing delayed? No, it isn't. Yeah. My stream is...
it's probably 6 seconds delayed in my case.
Yeah. It's only just showed up on my phone, because I have my phone in front of me to read chat and stuff. Yeah. So we're back to looking at Baron de Fleur, right? So basically, the way synchro monsters work is that you have to send monsters from your field to the graveyard to equal 10, but you also have to fill this little line on the top, right? You see Warrior Synchro Effect, you look at it below, and it says 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner monsters, right? Now what the hell is a tuner? What's so special about a tuna? What's so special about the Manguro, right? Well, literally the only important aspect is that tuners have the word tuner on them. That's it. Yeah, that's it. So you have to send a single monster that has tuner on it, plus 1 or more monsters that don't say tuner, and all their levels have to add up to 10, and then you can summon Baron de Fleur from your extra deck, right? And so the thing is, Runicks don't have access to tuners normally, but the Rose Dragons are. So you can use the Rose Dragons and their effects, which allow you to essentially summon extra monsters. You can get them back from the graveyard. You can swarm the field to then help make synchro monsters just really easy. That's kind of the whole shtick with Runick Synchro, right? Using the Runicks in combination with small collections or engines of cards that enable you to access synchro monsters with tuners and whatever, and you both deck out your opponent and also prevent your opponent from stopping your setups, right? So now that I've actually explained what the deck is, I need to actually fill it in the game. It's been a bit long. So I'm going to go ahead and just slap in a bunch of Runick cards first. I played this deck. It's very fun.
I only really understand like a half or 1/4 of what you were saying.
Well,
but it's fun though. It's really cool listening to that because I'm trying to absorb it as much as I can.
It's very interesting because Yu-Gi-Oh! Again...
It's very interesting.
Because teaching Yu-Gi-Oh is something that, I don't know, it's a unanimous thing. A lot of players just feel so inclined to teach it to other people, and that's me too. I'm just really invested into getting more people into it.
It's a really good way to remember strategies, teaching it to other people.
That's a general study tactic, actually. That's what I normally do when it comes to like studying for tests or something.
Same. That's what I do.
You
I
know?
would teach whatever I'm learning.
Yeah. If you can't teach it to someone, then do you know it yourself, like for real? Are you actually like educated on it? 5 head. Let's go. I was expecting to play Yu-Gi-Oh over here, not talk about studies, man. What the hell? I'm gonna get terrorized in my dreams. So, let's see.
Gonna keep hunting.
Yeah. I'm just gonna put in a shit ton of RUNICK cards, right? Because all the spells are just really easy to utilize. So, terraforming.
What does extra deck mean?
So the extra deck is basically like, you know what? The best way I can show this to you actually is I'm gonna go on stream, and I'm going to just boot up a duel.
That's probably gonna be a tangent. We don't want the tangent.
I mean, hey, you know what? All in the sake of making this make more sense, right? So I'm gonna go into solo mode real quick and boot up a random duel, right? It doesn't have to like have anything happen. I just need to show you where everything is, like on the field and everything. So
okay.
It'll take a little bit of time, but as soon as it loads up, right? I think it's like 5 seconds behind.
Oh my god, a silver eyes white dragon.
Blue eyes white dragon, yes.
Oh, blue eyes white dragon. Oh my god.
Yeah, we abbreviate blue eyes white dragon to BEWD or BOOD.
Bood.
Bood, lewd. I've always made that connection. It's a little it's a little weird, not gonna lie.
Booba.
Booba, let's go. Alright, so this is the field of Yu-Gi-Oh, right? It's on my stream right now. So on your right side, right? If you see what I'm, oh wait, no, my face cam's covering it. Damn it.
You're covering it with your huge ass face cam.
Yeah, I got a big ass face. Okay, so you see the bottom right, yeah?
Yeah.
So I'm hovering over this. This is what we call the main deck, right? This is where everything you have is. If you run out of cards from this deck, if you can't draw anymore because you draw from it every turn, you lose, right?
The bottom left one.
Bottom right. It's bottom right.
Oh, bottom right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm hovering over it right now. It'll take.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's over there. It says 35. If you notice that. Yeah. So this is where you draw everything, right? Your spells, your traps, your monsters. This is a monster. This is a spell. This is a trap, right? And then you have this over here. This on the left side.
The left side. Yeah.
This is the extra deck. Now the extra deck, you don't draw from it, you don't shuffle it, and unlike the main deck, you can just click on it and just look through it at any time you want.
Oh, you can search it?
Yeah. So you don't draw from it, you don't draw from it, you don't, like, if you run out of cards from it, you don't lose. But the extra deck isn't really a deck per se, it's more like a repository, right? It's full of monsters that you can access at practically any time, as long as you fulfill their conditions. Like for example, this card over here, it'll come up on stream soon. Gonna wait for it to load, right? I would share this on Discord, but for some reason, sharing this particular game on Discord just doesn't work. I don't know why.
Probably your PC.
Yeah. So, I guess. So, again, my head's kind of in the way, so I'll move my head again. Yeah.
You're in the way!
Got a big head right here.
A big ol' head.
So, you see Wee Witch's Apprentice, yeah?
Yeah, on my screen there's Wee Witch's Apprentice.
Yeah. So basically, you can find this in the extra deck, and extra deck monsters have, you know, they're spellcasters, whatever, and they also have this little line of text. Basically, as long as you can get those particular monsters on the field, right? Those are like summoning conditions. Those are like the required things you need to summon it. As long as you can get them, like if I put 2 dark monsters on the field in my zones, then I can just summon it from the extra deck by sending them to the graveyard, right? So it's kind of like you're sacrificing things, but what you sacrifice is dependent on the monster. Yeah?
Yeah.
So again, this is a bad example because this is a solo duel where I just chose a loner deck, right? But I'm gonna go ahead and boot up Madolche real quick.
Let's go, Madolche.
Madolche. They're the best. They're the very best. So I'm gonna go ahead and give an example, right, of how this whole extract shenanigan will work, right? This is a very mediocre hand. Hold up. So I'm gonna go ahead and just speed through. Let's see if I can get what I need, right? I just need to demonstrate the concept of the extra deck real quick. So, I'm real quick just gonna speed through this, right? So, I'll tell you what you need to pay attention to. Oh, thank God, I found Petting Cessor. Alright then.
Okay, on screen you're on main phase 1.
Yeah. The turns of the phases of your turn, right?
Yes.
But let's go ahead and demonstrate what I am talking about. I'm gonna real quick just do some Madolche gaming, as one would say.
This is basically MILLIE.
Yes, it is the MILLIE deck. I'm gonna go over this pretty soon when we go to Ethyria. So basically, am I in the right good position for this? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just make my head a little smaller. It's a bit too large. It's a bit voluminous, not gonna lie. Right, so now, for example, let us take a monster called Madolche Fresh Sister, right? It's in the extra deck, and it's a link monster, right? So the way you summon monsters from the extra deck is like, again, it's like a little repository. As long as you get the appropriate materials on the field, in this case, we need 2 Madolches, then all you gotta do is send them from the field to the graveyard and then just yoink the thing from the extra deck and put it on the field, right? So, for example, I have 2 monsters on my field right now. Both of them are Madolches. Because they're both Madolches, and because I fulfill the requirements, I can then choose both of them, send them to the graveyard, and then summon the Sistart. It'll need to catch up on stream in just a second, but
it takes a while.
Yeah,
on stream.
That's the slightly annoying thing, right? But as you can see, I am selecting them, and because I have fulfilled the requirements, I can then send it to the graveyard, and then boom, I have summoned the thing from the extra deck. It just come out of there just like that. Wapa.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's like a repository, and the way synchros work is that you need to have monsters on the field whose levels total to its own. So for example, right, I don't have any synchro monsters in the Madolches because they don't run synchros, right? But if let's say for example, these 2, level 4 and level 5, if one of them was a tuner, because synchro monsters require tuners, right? Then I could just send it to the graveyard and then just summon the level 9. But the problem is, what the hell is a tuner mean? Like, what's it supposed to do? What's a tuner? What are tuners so special at, right? How do I know if something's a tuner? Literally, I'm gonna open up a card on my stream again. It's gonna, God, it's annoying how long it takes. But bear with me real quick.
I can see a rabbit at the other side.
Oh, that's mine. Yeah, rescue rabbits.
Cute.
Alright then, you can see on my screen Dimension Shifter, yeah?
Not yet. Not yet. Okay, there you go. Dimension Shifter.
So you notice that, okay, there's Dimension Shifter, the name, then below you have 6 stars, 1200 attack, 2200 defense, and then he has this line, Spellcaster Effect. If a monster is a tuner, the only thing that's different between tuners and non-tuners, which don't have tuner in the name, is that in this line, Spellcaster Effect, they would put another slash and say tuner. That's literally it. So as long as you have a monster that says tuner in its text, right? And then you have monsters of the appropriate levels, whatever, you can send them to the graveyard like their sacrifices, and then use them to summon the synchros, like the Baronne de Fleur, as I showed you. Yeah. I hope it makes sense, as now I've kind of like...
sense.
Yeah.
Now that I have a visual, I can understand now.
Yes.
I just needed a visual representation of it.
So the way the Runicks, they have their spells. Their spells can do things like they can negate monster effects, they can search for cards, and then they can banish cards, or they can choose to summon a helper from the extra deck. And this can just be, and they just cheat it out. They don't need to send things to the graveyard. They just use the spell, and then the spell just takes them from the extra deck and plops them on the field, right? So, for example, the Enna looking card, Hugin, you have Gary, he's a little wolf, I think. Then you got Moonin, who's, I made a stream with Moonin in the thumbnail and called it Pussy. Very, very questionable.
Pussy.
Yeah. So basically the whole concept with Runick Synchro is that when you summon those things from the extra deck, you have to discard a card. And so what you can do is you can run a series of monsters called the Fabled, where if you discard them for cost or whatever, right? I think I talked about the whole semicolon thing earlier.
Mm-hmm.
If you discard them for cost, they can summon themselves for free. So essentially, you can summon both your little helpers, and you can summon the Fableds, and all the Fableds are tuners. So for example, the copy of Sir Burl and Abank, right? Sir Burl is a level 2 tuner that says if you discard it, you can summon it for free. And the Abank is basically just saying, hey, do you have a Fabled in your hand? You can get rid of that and summon this little beaver boy. So let me whip out the Fabled card on my screen real quick, right? You'll see it happen soon, I'll tell you when. It's a little inconvenient, right? But it is what it is. Gotta make sure you understand how the Yu-Gi-Oh gaming works, you know? Okay, it's on my screen now. It's a little dog. It's a little Cerberus looking boy.
Not yet on mine. Okay, there we go.
Yeah. So you notice how it says tuner in that little line. Beast tuner effect.
Beast tuner effect. This card is discarded to the graveyard. Special summon it.
Yeah. So basically, if you choose to summon any of your helpers, you have to discard a card. So if you choose to discard the Fabled cards, then you can just get 2 monsters practically for free. Your helper plus your Fabled, because, oh sure, you discarded a card, but at the same time, that card comes back, so you've technically not really lost anything. And now, you have, let's say, Hugin's a level 2, and Cerberal's a level 2, so now you can make a level 4 Synchro monster. You see how it works?
Oh, so basically it's kind of like overwhelm your enemy.
Yeah, it's swarming the field with monsters to then hopefully be able to make a bunch of other things like synchros. So now I'm gonna actually incorporate I'm gonna incorporate the Rose Dragons now. So let me just put the cards into the deck real quick first, and then kind of explain. So first of all,
Legends of Runeterra. Legends of Runeterra, that's my playstyle. Just swarm my enemies.
Yeah, so I played Shadowverse as well, so I kind of understand the concept of swarming, but in this case, the reason you swarm is so that you can use your monsters to then make other ones, right? So basically, the extra deck is like the most important part of the game, practically speaking, because you can access so many powerful things from it. So the whole purpose of a lot of decks is to swarm the field, get the appropriate materials, and then just summon a lot of really powerful extra deck monsters. You feel? So on my screen, I have Red Rose Dragon, right? So it's a level 3 tuner. So if you combine it with any of your regular runic helpers, right? When it's sent to the graveyard, you can summon a Rose Dragon from your deck. Real easy. So you can use the Red Rose Dragon in order to summon a Rox Rose. And the Rox Rose can, when it's summoned from the deck, can search for a spell. It's a snowball effect, but basically, the Rose Dragons are there to help put a lot more monsters on the field. Hello, Londoga. Welcome to chat. I appreciate you dropping in. I'm explaining. I'm explaining Runick Synchro to a person who has no idea about Yu-Gi-Oh, and it's going actually pretty well. I'm actually pretty happy at how this is going.
So far, I'm understanding some of it.
That is the big dub right there. So
hey, it's a W if you ask me.
Exactly. So we have already put in the Rose Dragons, so now we just have to put in appropriate synchro monsters that we're able to access. So for example, let's see, I will put in things like Coral Dragon. Coral Dragon is a synchro monster that's also a tuner. and it's like a bridge. You summon the synchro monster so that you're able to summon even larger ones in the future. So I'm gonna put Coral Dragon and then Stardust Warrior. Alright. And then I'll put in the appropriate extract monsters that are just really good. So like Barone, and I'll play Chungus. I mentioned this before, and you've heard of Chungus.
The card, yeah.
Right. So I'm just gonna put them in the extract real quick. And oh yeah, there's another fabled monster I need to put in the extra deck. So I'll go ahead and put this dude in. So basically, since you kind of already got the concept of like, hey, this is how you make synchro monsters. You can use synchro monsters to make other synchro monsters. So essentially, you're trying to make synchro monsters, use those synchro monsters to make more. And the best synchro monsters you have access to are the Barone, which basically is the no thing I showed you, and Chungus, which is basically no in a different flavor. Hello, is your audio off?
Hello. Oh.
Yeah, you went silent for a
sec.
sec.
You did not
No?
hear my reply?
No?
I forgot what I said. Yeah. Yes, I'll just say yes. I forgot what I said.
Okay. You know what? That's fine. I've almost kind of completed the deck, but I'm gonna slap in some more monsters real quick. I'm gonna put in some more Rose Dragons. But essentially, this is like a somewhat competitive version of RUNICK, which plays Rose Dragons. Rose Dragons are related to Rosemi because of roses. And Rosemi actually made a Rose Dragon deck, but it was before this came out, so it wasn't as good. Do you have the Fabled cards to send into the graveyard with their RUNICK spells? Yes, Lindoga. We put the triple Cerbarl and the one Abank, so that's kind of like how you get your whole shtick going. But I'll just go ahead and put in some Rose Dragons real quick, and we basically built a really shitty but functional version of RUNICK Synchro featuring Rose Dragon. So I'm gonna have to TLDR this because I will clip this and make this into shorts, by the way. But basically RUNICK Synchro, but with Rose Dragons, right? We're using the RUNICK cards to deck out our opponent, of course, and have disruption. But we also play a small package of Fabled and Rose Dragons to help facilitate synchro monsters like Barone, like the cards like Ruddy Rose and whatever. And the way this relates to Rosemi is because A, it's a competent deck and Rosemi is a competent player, and B, Rose Dragons. And Rosemi's played them before, and Rosemi is literally a rose. That's the deck.
Whoa.
So now that we've gotten that, we have both Petra and Selen. Selen's going to be the harder one to do, so I'll get Petra out of the way. Petra's really easy.
Selen is just another dragon, right? Is there like another dragon that we could do?
See, that's the thing. I have to think kind of hard. I have a basic idea of what I want to have for a Selen deck. So there's that, but it's not going to be like the dragons are related to Selen or look like Selen. But it's going to be like a generically good dragon deck with just a bunch of good dragon monsters, plus a archetype of monsters that look kind of like Selen's little, I forgot, Selen's pet. I forgot what it was called.
Shit, I forgot as well.
Yeah,
Ember.
Yeah, Ember. So, yeah, basically that's kind of the idea I have for Selen, but I'll go for Petra first, because I think it's a conceptually much more simple and funny deck. Noot, baby, let's go. Noot. So the penguins, right? The penguins are interesting. The way they work is simple, right? You have Penguin Squire. It's a synchro-based strategy where you use the penguins to summon themselves to the field and then make your penguin brave. It's a synchro monster that's a level 6. And basically, it says your opponent can't target face-down monsters of yours because a lot of your penguins like to be face down and then reveal themselves to do cool things, right? And
I thought you were gonna say reveal themselves to be a penguin.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, since they're face down, your opponent can't technically know what they are. So then you're like, oh, but it was a penguin. That's
Me, a penguin.
Yeah, there's actually
is there like a penguin rescue penguin?
Rescue penguin? No, there's no rescue penguin. But there's a penguin that's... There's a penguin that holds a little X sign. It's on my screen right now. It'll take a little bit of time, but he's called No Penguin.
No penguin. It's
Yeah.
not a penguin.
No, it's a penguin.
It's
It's just holding a sign that has an X on it. It's just saying no.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a penguin.
No, it is penguin. It's on my screen.
Yeah. It's not a penguin.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's nah. It can't be a penguin. Look at those feet.
Yeah,
Those look fake. So basically, the whole shtick of this deck is you make your penguin brave. Use this to summon other penguins, and depending on the situation, you can summon different penguins. For example, you can summon something like what's a good example? You can summon something like Penguin Ninja, if I can find it. Where's Penguin Ninja? Yeah, Penguin Ninja.
Hey, yo.
And so, how about Bird Luna? I mean, I'm saving the birds for Enna. So, So basically, use the Penguin Brave, and then you can summon other penguins from your deck, which, depending on the situation, can do things. Like, for example, No Penguin over there can, in conjunction with other penguins, basically just say, haha, no. It'll just, literally, it's in his name. But it can basically, in conjunction with other penguins, remove cards really easily. Then you have things like Penguin Ninja, which basically just says, haha, spells and traps, be gone, thought, and just gets rid of them, right? So you kind of just run a small little package of sorts where you're running the penguins and then you're trying to make Penguin brave and then just kind of trying to slowly, selectively piece out your opponent's, plays, right? It's hard to explain. Also because I've not really played this deck before. I just know about this deck in concept.
Penguin. That's it. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, penguin. So I'm just gonna put in a bunch of noot. So I'm gonna just put in a bunch of penguins, and then kind of call it a day. But I wanted to play another type of deck with the penguins, right? Because I think it's really based. I wanted to play something called Ice Jade. I was playing against my friend Novampyrean the other day, right? And I was using Ice Jade.
I think they're in chat. I don't know.
Yeah, they were in chat. Yeah, they were in chat like some time ago. Told me I was muted accidentally. Right?
Oh.
Hold, let me get a little sippy of water real quick. Okay. So the Ice Jades, right? What's the whole shtick with the Ice Jades? Well, the Ice Jades are basically just like, hey, do you have water monsters? We can help with that. The Ice Jades are what we call really good extenders. So, extenders is a term in Yu-Gi-Oh! That's, again, really weird to define to someone who doesn't play it. But essentially, you have your main plays, right? You have your main combos that can make things like synchros or whatever your deck kind of tries to do. But what extenders are cards that don't necessarily, like, contribute to the main thing you're trying to do, but having them on the field can kind of help you out. Like, for example, extenders, what they do is they just summon themselves for free. They're extra bodies, so you can do different things with them. Like, for example, if you make your regular synchros, but then you put a couple of extenders on the field, right? They kind of extend what you're able to do, right? So you're like, oh, but because I have these guys on the field, now I can do something else. And you can have something that's a little more powerful. Right? Do you kind of get what I'm going for with this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the Ice Jades are cards that allow you to basically do anything with water monsters. For example, Ice Jade Tremora basically says, hey, if this thing is in your hand, put it away, put it in the graveyard, and then you can choose a water monster in your hand, and then just put it on the field for free. So it can help extend by saving up your normal summon, because the way Yu-Gi-Oh! Works is that during your main phase, during the main part of your turn, you can do something called a normal summon, right? You can slap a monster on the field, and unless you use an effect, that's it. That's the only, like, normal summon you have. So you can kind of save that normal summon by summoning what you want with Tremora first, and then kind of just doing more things as you go. It's... If that makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah, basically the Ice Jades help facilitate more swarming. And they also have things like Ice Jade Acti, where if you summon Ice Jade Acti, you can take a water monster in your hand, put it in the graveyard, and then choose to draw another card. So And I told you why drawing cards was so good earlier today. I think I told Wolby in particular, right? So Ice Jade Acti is kind of like a discount version of that, but that's always helpful, right? Especially if you already have your penguins established, you can kind of just use Acti to just kind of reach more. Like, okay, I have my main thing established, but hey, what else can I try to dig in my deck? What else can help me out here, right?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm alive. I'm alive.
Oh, you sound disappeared.
Yeah, no, I was waiting for a response. Just waiting to see if you're still alive. So I'm just gonna put...
alive.
Yeah, let's go. So I'm just gonna put in some Ice Jades really quick in this deck. And, well, it's kind of it, to be honest. It ain't anything super special. Let me just... I have to fill this deck out somehow. So... what else do I put in this? God damn, this is a little difficult. What the hell? What else can I do? Oh yeah, I can put in a Deep Sea package. So Deep Sea, they're a certain series of monsters. All they do, they have the words Deep Sea in their name. And they can basically summon a bunch of fishies out from the deck, and they can help access synchro monsters really easily. So I'm going to put them in there so that we can make synchro monsters like Penguin Brave much easier. Right?
Yes. Wait. Hello?
Yeah. Yeah. I copy you.
Oh. I keep getting confused. If I get disconnected or not.
Aw.
Oh.
Discord's a little weird like that, not gonna lie.
Discord is just being Discord.
Yeah, like for example, if it's precisely Yu-Gi-Oh, it just doesn't work if I want to share my screen. But if it's anything else that exists, period. Yeah, okay, sure. Go ahead, bud. That's fine. You go, boss.
He hates you.
It
he
do.
hates Yu-Gi-Oh.
I literally... It's not just like I have to reset my machine. I've reset this laptop twice, and it still decides to be like, no, fuck you in particular. No, the homie, dog. We don't want you. We don't want you doing shit, dude. So I'm just gonna...
Basically, the plan here is you're gonna add Deep Sea cards so that what do you call this?
The synchros are
Brave
easier to
Penguin.
access.
Yeah, specifically the Brave Penguin is a lot easier to summon or access, right?
Yeah, so that's kind of the whole shtick, right? The Ice Jades are there to basically provide general support. You have a small package of penguins that you can use to make your Brave, and then you have the Deep Sea Divas, which can help you either access the penguins, or you can choose to just do other things, honestly, right? So I'm going to just put in the rest of this stuff. So Deep Sea... You always forget that Deep Sea Diva and Pankratops have archetypes. Actually, Deep Sea isn't an archetype, because when it's an archetype, right, an archetype is classified by all the monsters kind of being interconnected, that they're all known as like something. For example, the Sword Souls, that's an archetype because they all have Sword Soul in their name, and there's cards that refer to them by Sword Souls, right? But the Deep Seas, they all have Deep Sea in their names. They all share those names, sure, but none of them actually refer to each other by Deep Sea. They don't actually refer to each other at all. They're just monsters that happen to have the same sort of common name. They can't interact with each other. So that's how it is. But Pankratops does have its own archetype because they all interact with each other and can search each other. The whole shebang. That must have sounded like a lot of nonsense, but believe me, it is. It's very interesting to talk about. Were you saying something? I think it kind of cut out.
Oh no. I just said yes.
Yeah, I all I heard was
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Let me just put in a couple more synchro monsters and then call it a day.
Hate you.
Discord hates everyone, to be honest. The only good thing about Discord is A, it's easy to use, and B, it's got a banger of a social media page.
Convenient. It's convenient.
Their Twitter their Twitter admins are great.
I mean, if I get to use between Zoom and Discord, I'd probably choose Discord.
Oh, obviously, Discord you can do so much more. The Zoom is also just reminding me of Pandemic, which is ew. Actually hate
Yeah.
that. Did you have to use
Same
Zoom a
goes for-
lot in Discord? Sorry, no, Zoom a lot in the pandemic.
No, it was Microsoft Teams.
Oh, lucky with that. Teams is so much nicer.
It's so much nicer, but I don't like seeing it again. I don't want to see it again.
It's just bad memories, I understand.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and just add a couple of things and kind of call it a day with the Petra deck. But now Petra Pengies. So
we also have Rosemi. Now we only have Selen.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and explain what I just added. So I added what we call a package. Now I told you what an engine was, right? There are a bunch of cards that help you facilitate things, right? You can have your main engine, which can facilitate what you want to do with the deck. You can also add things like supplementary engines, which don't inherently relate to what you are trying to do with your deck mainly, but they can help, right? Help you access different things. And then you have packages, right? What I like to think is that engines are collections of cards that help you access different things, but packages are cards that your deck can already access, and they're just like a different end result. Right? If that makes sense?
Yes, it makes sense.
So the package I've just put in here is what we call Bahamut Toad. You have Bahamut Shark. It's this monster. It's a black bordered card. It's called an Exceeds monster, right? And the way that Exceeds monsters work is instead of sending cards to the graveyard, you need to have multiple cards of the same level, and then you gotta stack them on top of each other. And then once you do, you can slap the Xyz monster on top of them. It's like a little stack of cards, right? It's like you're playing Jenga. And the way Xyz monsters work is that now the cards below it are like resources. You can take those cards below it and then send them to the graveyard as like a cost. And once you run out of cards under it, they're kind of dead. You see kind of like the concept there?
Kind of.
Yeah. Okay, how do I need to... Wait, I actually have an Xyz monster IRL. I have like IRL cards with me. I forgot that for a sec. Let me go ahead and get some out to then quickly explain what I am trying to accomplish here. Damn, I'm actually kind of happy that I have the IRL cards with me.
Okay.
Right?
So, I need a visual representation because I'm really bad at listening.
Yeah, that's fair.
Rather, imagining things. IRL.
So, I'm going to go ahead and increase my webcam size. So, oh, what the hell is this? Why does it look so weird? Okay, now tell me when the camera is zoomed in, right?
Okay.
Looks kind of weird, but ew, I gotta do things real quick.
Okay. You have another camera with you.
Yes. So this over here is an Xyz monster, right? I'm gonna put it on the screen. God, it's so annoying having to take this much time.
There's gonna be a lot of delay. You could just show it to me and then just keep talking.
You know what? Actually, I'm gonna just see if I can turn on my camera on Discord. For some reason though.
Oh, sure.
For some reason though, it doesn't like to detect my face cam. It's so weird. I don't know why. Can you see anything?
Wait a second. It's loading.
Okay, yeah, I know it's not.
I can see that you're holding Tornado Dragon on your stream.
Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna turn it off because it never works. So, basically, right? You have an Xyz monster, and on the card, right? It has its material requirements, right? But they will always require multiple monsters of the same level. And so the way you summon these guys from the extra deck is you got to get multiple monsters of the same level on the field, right? And what you got to do is you got to put them on top of each other. And then on the field, slap the Xyz monster on top of them. So it's like a stack of cards. If you can kind of see how I'm holding them on the screen.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah, pog. So you gotta put the Xyz monster on top of them, like a stack of cards. And so the way Xyz monsters work is that the cards below them are kind of like resources. You can take those resources from the bottom of them, send them away, and then use powerful effects. In the case of Tornado Dragon, it can take cards in the back row, which is what we call the spells and traps, right? It can basically take spells and traps and destroy them. But once it runs out of cards beneath it, once you use them up, it can't do it anymore. So that's kind of like the concept.
What happens to the cards that got discarded?
They're just sent to the graveyard. That's the whole thing.
And then? That's it?
Yeah, that's it. They're just sent to the graveyard as like a cost. And like if they have effects in the graveyard, cool, you can activate them. But that's like a separate instance. We're just talking it. So basically there's the whole stacking thing, right? Now, what I'm trying to explain here is Bahamut Toad. So Bahamut Toad is where you take this Xyz monster called Bahamut Shark. It'll be shown on my stream shortly. You can make it with 2 level 4 monsters that are water. And what it basically says is, hey, just summon a toad out of your deck for free. Just summon a cool little dude, right? And the toad that you summon, this cool little dude, I'll put him on screen. He's got the most awesome name ever, right? You'll love him. You'll love him already. He'll be on screen soon. I sadly don't have him IRL. That's very Madge, to be honest.
It's fine.
It'll show on my screen, on your screen, in like a couple seconds.
Okay, there we go. It's totally awesome.
He's totally awesome. He's a negate. So the Bahamut is basically an Xyz monster that requires level 4 monsters, and its effect, TLDR, basically says, summon totally awesome from your extra deck for free by detaching a material. So this is what we call a package, where the Penguin deck can already make multiple level 4 monsters that are water, and so they can already inherently access it, right? It doesn't technically change what the deck's capabilities are, it just changes their end products, right? But what an engine is it's a collection of cards that can change what you can do, right? Frog is based, yes it is Landoga, but everyone knows that the optimal summon from Bahamut Shark is Rebarian Shark for sure. Of course, Cope. Ayo, Chii, you're in chat.
Yeah.
Let's go. So, yeah, it is awesome.
I'm everywhere.
You're everywhere. So, Discord, YouTube, Twitch, everywhere, man. But that's basically the concept behind engines and packages, right? It's a piece of discourse that I think there's a lot of nuance in, because there's obviously exceptions and whatever. But I'm gonna leave the Petra Pengies deck as this. So TLDR, we're using penguins such as Penguin Squire to make Penguin Brave, and then we can just keep penguins in rotation, keep using their effects because Penguin Brave can summon them from deck and whatever. And we can also use the Ice Jades, which are a series of water monsters that like other water monsters, to help summon more penguins and to help keep your board chalked up. We're also playing the Deep Seas because the Deep Seas help us access synchro monsters like Adamancipator Risen Dragite, which is a spell trap negate, or Baronne de Fleur, which is what we call an Omni negate, right? Which it can negate anything. It's not just a spell trap negate, it's not just a monster negate, it negates everything. And, well, yeah, we also have a Bahamut Toad package because why not? And that's the Penguin deck. It's fairly simple.
Nice.
And now, Selen. The idea I've had for this deck is pretty simple. So the thing is, Konami is not very they don't treat all decks fairly, right? The way they kind of operate is they'll just take a specific kind of monster and make them super good, but forget to support other types of monsters, right? So in the case of dragons, Konami loves them. There's so many dragon monsters that are really good, and because there's so many dragon monsters that are so good, you can just slam a bunch of them in a deck together and then call it a day, right? Just to put a bunch of good dragons, like they don't have to be related to each other, they're just good on their own, and call it a day. And that's what we call, yeah, and that's what we call Dragon Link, right? Because it's a link monster based strategy that uses a lot of dragons. Now link monsters, what are those? Just like the Madolche monster.
Perfect for Selen, not gonna lie, because she's pretty chaotic. That's pretty chaotic, where you just lump
there's
dragons.
actually a bunch of dragon monsters that, okay, there's a type of deck called Chaos, right? And it's
Chaos.
a deck that revolves around light and dark, about using both of them. And generally the whole shtick is that you can banish light or dark monsters from your graveyard in order to do certain things. Like, for example, Chaos Dragon Levianeer, right? It's a pretty good example of Chaos support. So Chaos Dragon Levianeer, it's just a monster that lets you banish light or dark monsters from your graveyard in order to do certain things, right? It depends on what you banish, right? Or you have things like Chaos Ruler, the Chaotic Magical Dragon, which is a synchro monster that allows you to send cards from your deck to your graveyard. It can also resurrect itself if you have light or dark monsters in your graveyard, whatever, right? So we're playing Dragon Link with Chaos. We're playing Dragon Link with elements of Chaos because Selen's chaotic and Selen's a dragon. But I'm also going to be playing a deck. Sorry, I'm going to also be playing a package, or not, sorry, an engine of monsters that fits with Selen's pet Ember. They're called the Scareclaws. Now, the reason why I'm playing the Scareclaws is pretty simple. You'll see why, but I'll just zoom in to one of their cards, and you can see why, right? Just aesthetically, it kind of looks like Ember. It'll pop up on screen soon, but Scareclaws, they sort of look like Selen, like Ember. So that's Scareclaw Balone. Yeah?
But there's a question.
Uh-huh.
Is it toxic?
Depends. Depends if you'd like to say it. It's a very pro gamer strat because it's very difficult to pilot, right? So
Okay,
decks.
so it's pro gamer, so it fits the London.
Yeah, because it's very tough. It's very difficult to pilot Dragon Link. Dragon Links are very complex decks because you can do so much. There's no set boundary as to what you can do, and because of that alone, it's very difficult to then actually make decisions and choose, and you can kind of get lost. Like, okay, but I can do this, or I can do this. It's like a paradox of choice. You have so much to do that it's just a bit too tough. So that's kind of the whole concept behind it. So I'm going to play a small Scareclaw engine, right? This Scareclaw engine is going to feature just some cards that let you synchro summon really easy, right? And also some generically good Link monsters that are featured in the Scareclaw deck. So let me just put them in the deck really quick, and then I can put in the dragons, or I can make them start dragging their balls. Alright, and then because I don't want to I don't want to insult Dragon Link players, I am going to look up a deck list on my phone to see what a basic Dragon Link decks look like, and then I can kind of use that as a basis as to, like, okay, how do I make this deck look? How do I make it work? You know? So I'm gonna go ahead to the best website in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! It's called Master Duel Meta. It's a site where people can post their decks and guides, and it also has a tier list, and it has tournament standings. It's wonderful, and it posts leaks. I love this site. It's very good. So I'm gonna go ahead and just filter through. Dragon Link decks. They're also very expensive, so depending on how you perceive Selen, that might be in theme as well. They're very spenny. So we have Wyver Burster and Collapse Serpent, okay. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and slap them in real quick. This might take a little bit of time to fill in the cards, but don't worry about it. It is
okay.
Dragon Ravine. Do they have Romulus? They do? Ooh, okay. Based. Alright, I'll play this and that. And then they also play... What else do they play? Yeah, Seifert. Because again, a lot of these cards, they don't really have much to do with each other. But they're all dragons, and they're all really good.
They just make sense.
Yeah, it just does.
It's dragons.
It's a chaotic mess, and the chaotic mess works somehow.
That's the one.
It is what it is.
We're staying in theme, you know?
Yep, and the Scareclaws just kind of aesthetically look like Ember, so that's why I'm putting them in there. Let's see. So they're playing Rocket Recharger, Rocket Tracer. Okay, yeah. Rocket Synchron. Alright then. Gonna find them real quick. Put a couple of you. Rocket Recharger, and then a couple copies of Tracer. I wanna be Tracer, I'm already Tracer, ayo. Gotta remind ourselves of the bad times to know why today's such a good day. Or something like that, I don't know. So then I will put in Nightmare. Because the thing is, the extra deck, right? It's not just a place where you can access powerful, like, end objectives for your strategy, right? It's also a place where you can find just monsters that can be slapped in practically any deck, right? So the way we kind of quantify this is we call things generic, right? So if a card is so unspecific with what it requires to be summoned that practically any deck can put them in, then we call them generic. So for example, Nightmare Unicorn, right? So Nightmares, they're a series of Link monsters, and all of them just require a certain quantity of monsters on the field. They don't require anything specific like, oh, it has to be a fiend monster, or it has to be dark, right? It's just monsters. So they're very generic, and they also have very good effects. So there's certain monsters that are just very good. They're so good that not playing them in a deck is a bit of a waste. So that's another concept, right? And this kind of ties into the whole talk about staples, where there's also certain just good cards in general that you want to play in practically any deck, right? So things like traps, certain traps are really good. There's a genre of monsters that we like to call hand traps, which are just monsters that can activate in the hand to stop your opponent from doing things. And they're good enough that we kind of consider them a pseudo version of a trap. So, you know, just trying to introduce some of these concepts. Let's see, this thing is triple burst, huh? You know what? Let me go ahead and just start putting in random shit. I think it's enough following the rules. Let's get a little chaotic with this. Let's get a little spicy with what we're doing here. So, Red Eye is MD. Then we got a copy of Nocto Vision. And I'm going to play Dragon Maids because they're based and they're also waifus. Oh shit, I already have them on this account. What the fuck? That's kind of crazy. And now I will play random things like Ash Blossom. And we're done. We've made a really weird version of Dragon Link. Scareclaw Dragon Maid Dragon Link. I have certainly not seen decks this quirky before. But hey, that's what we're here to do. Alright. And now, we're done with Selen.
Obsydia.
Obsydia's done. Now,
yeah,
we got, oh, hold up.
Ethyria.
I have Ethyria left. I haven't put up chat in a while, actually. I was busy looking stuff up. I haven't checked chat in a sec. All right then. Yeah, no one said anything in chat since I left, so that's fine. Now, here's where we. Yes, I'm gonna go over MILLIE first because that's the deck I actually have.
Yes.
You have been waiting for this. You have.
Let's go.
Madolche time. Let's go.
Madolche.
So, Madolche, right? Now, Madolche, to explain how Madolche works, if we try to explain like, oh yeah, this card does that, this is the end board, it's a bit difficult. So instead, let's just kind of explain what they generally do. The Madolches are cards that specialize in swarming, and they specialize in recurring cards. So a lot of the effects in this deck allow you to return cards from your graveyard back into the deck, and a lot of cards you have trigger certain effects, certain positive effects for you once you start recycling cards. So it kind of says, hey, are you being environmentally conscious? Nice, I'm gonna give you a free monster for that. Good job, bud. So they kind of benefit from swarming the field and recycling, so they last for a very long time. Madolches. So you shouldn't underestimate them by any means. They also have a lot of effects where they're basically, they swarm really easily. So for example, the best single card in this deck, Madolche Petincessor, basically says if you don't have a monster in your graveyard, i.e. you've been recycling, you good boy, you can summon the Petincessor, and then the Petincessor can summon another Madolche from the deck. And surprise, surprise, we have things like Angeli. Angeli basically says you can sacrifice itself to put a Madolche from the deck to your field. You have Mageline, which basically allows you to get a Madolche from your deck. You have Hootcake, which says, do you have something in your graveyard? You can get rid of that and put another Madolche on your field. And just a whole lot of effects that basically translate to make Madolche monster on field and make lots of them, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you have that. You have a trap that the deck can access really easily called Madolche Promenade, which allows you to negate monsters on the field. Very nice. And the very interesting thing is that I vaguely mentioned hand traps, right? But I need to explain this more to explain why this deck is so good, right? So let's pull up Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Have you heard of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring before?
No.
So
I don't know.
It's going to be on my screen soon enough. Oh, I have to update my stream on my phone. It's like 6 minutes delayed. God damn it. Okay, yeah, it's on my screen now on my phone. Please let me know when you see Ash Blossom.
It's not yet on mine. There we go.
So, Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. This is what we call a hand trap. Basically, it's a monster that in the hand can put itself in the graveyard to do things to your opponent, right? And this can activate, like, if your opponent decides to go first, it doesn't mean that you're still incapable of doing things, even though it's not your turn. Ash Blossom can still interact. Ash Blossom has a single effect. It says, hey, does your opponent do any of the following, which is on the screen right now? You can discard the Ash Blossom from your hand to negate that effect. And what does it negate? It says, if your opponent tries to add a card from their deck to hand, if your opponent tries to special summon one from the deck, or if your opponent decides to send a card from your deck to the graveyard, you can stop them from doing that, because normally those are the type of effects that get people's combos started, right? So the reason why I need to mention hand traps like Ash Blossom is that Madolche can also help you recycle your own hand traps. So once you put them in the graveyard, you can use them again the next turn. So Madolche helps you benefit because it helps you recycle things extremely effectively, right? Also, Lindoga, Joyous Forehead. Yes, Joyous Forehead indeed. Ash Blossom's got a fat forehead. So that's essentially what Madolche really has a lot of strengths in. And because they can swarm monster.
How do you stop Madolche?
That's very important. So the way you stop Madolche is there's this one card that allows them to pop off called Madolche Petincessor Chocolat a la Mode. This card basically says, when it's on the field, if you recycle a Madolche from your graveyard, you can detach a material from this Exceeds monster and then summon Madolches from your deck, and this is not a once per turn for some bloody reason. See, there's a reason why lots of cards have once per turns these days. It's to prevent them from going too rampant, and this card does not have a once per turn on it. But if you if you use some sort of effect to stop Chocolate a la mode from going off for the first time, it's very difficult for Madolche to start swarming the field with more monsters, right? So by the end of it, if you just stop the Chocolate a la mode and they have nothing else to do, they just have a 2500 attack Xyz monster. That's it. It doesn't do anything inherently. It's when Madolche starts swarming their field that they get really dangerous. Like for example, Madolche Queen Tiramisu, right? It's going to be on my screen shortly, but TLDR, this card basically says, hey, I can recycle cards from our graveyard in order to get rid of my opponent's field. And this effect is what we call a soft once per turn. So the difference between a soft once per turn and a hard once per turn, because there's a little bit of an innuendo there, is that soft once per turns are like, hey, you can activate this once per turn per copy of card you have on the field. So if you have 2 Tiramisus, you can use both of them once, right? But if it's a hard once per turn, it basically stays on its effect that, oh, you can only use this card, this name of this card, once per turn. So it doesn't matter how many you have on the field, you can only use one of that kind of effect. So if Madolche Queen Tiramisu was a hard once per turn, that means that even if I had 3 of them on the field, I could only activate 1 of them, and then that's it. I can't activate anything until the next turn, right? So the strength with Madolche is that Queen Tiramisu is a soft once per turn that allows you to recycle cards from your graveyard and remove your opponent's field. It has one of the best type of removal effects, period, where it shuffles things from your opponent's side of the field back into the deck directly. There's a lot of cards that have effects that say, oh, if I'm destroyed, I can still do something. Or, oh, if I'm banished, I can still do something, right? But shuffling back into the deck is one thing that nothing really has an answer to. So what's dangerous about Madolche is that they can just fucking wipe a person's field clean with this card.
Damn.
Exactly. And the way they accommodate that is by swarming their field with tons of Italian and French desserts. So
basically, if you start swarming, you're basically done.
Exactly. So this is why it's such a good going second deck, because your opponent can have a big board, right? But as long as you draw appropriate staple cards that allow you to remove a couple of things here and there, as long as you can start swarming, then there's nothing stopping you from just eradicating what they have on their field, you know? So the way you stop Madolche is by stopping them from swarming in the first place. So stopping the Madolche pudding says chocolate a la mode, that's a mouthful, is one such way, but that doesn't guarantee it, right? It's obviously situational, right? But it's a pretty damn foolproof way of stopping your opponent from doing things, right? So that's kind of how Madolche works, if I were to explain it that way. It can swarm, it can make link monsters, it can make Xyz monsters. It's overall just really competent going second. It's just that going first, it's not the strongest in this current meta. So the way I have to explain this is that there's a card called DD Crow. I'm going to pull it up on my screen really quick, and I'm going to have to read it out to you. But this card is, there's a lot of cards in the game that we use to blank describe a lot of things. Like, oh, this card is a DD Crow. And basically what we mean is that, oh, it has a similar effect to DD Crow, so I'm going to call it DD Crow to simplify things. So DD Crow, it'll be on my screen soon.
Okay, it's on screen now.
So DD Crow is a hand trap, just like Ash Blossom, but instead of negating things, it just lets you banish cards or get rid of cards from your opponent's graveyard. The graveyard is really influential. It's kind of like a second hand. So getting rid of stuff from your opponent's graveyard can screw up a lot of decks, because most decks, if not all, have something to do with the graveyard. Like Madolche, they have to recycle things from the graveyard in order to pull off some of their effects, because they can only get some of those good effects if they can recycle things. But if you remove the thing before they can recycle it, then they kind of don't do anything, right? Now, Madolche has an inbuilt effect that's kind of like a DD Crow, called Madolche Teacher Glassoufflé. It can DD Crow up to 3 monsters at a time. or sorry, it can decrow up to 2 monsters at a time, which is really good, but not now because the current decks we have aren't extremely graveyard reliant. But in a few months, once this game updates and gets more cards, there's a certain deck I was talking about earlier called Tearlaments. I'm getting some of the cards IRL, so I think you can remember they're the purple anime girls, and they're really graveyard reliant. So it's when those guys come out that Glass Soufflé, that a lot of Madolches become really powerful because they can recycle your opponent's stuff before they can even use it for their own effects. But for now, that isn't very useful. So Madolche is extremely good going second, but going first they're lackluster because a lot of decks might actually just say, oh, thank you, you recycled my shit. Thanks, dude, I appreciate it. But until we get Tearlaments, Madolches are just really good going second. That's practically the best thing, the thing they're best at, right? So, you know, I've attempted to explain Madolche as well as I can because I actually know how to play the deck. I spent less time actually building the deck. Huzzah! Let's go!
It's already built.
Yes. So now we have 3 decks. We have Enna, we have Reimu, and we have Nina. And then I think I'll put an end to this today.
Yeah.
So...
Also, oh, by the way, I think I need to go because I am 4% on my phone.
Oh my god. Oh my god, bro. I have power banks with me right now, so if I were next to you, I'd be like, yo, bro, I got you. But nah.
Sadge.
Sadge. Alright then.
I stayed for Millie.
Yes, you stayed for Millie. Millie's here. You can go ahead and leave then. That's fine. Don't worry about it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate having you over here. It was very fun to explain Yu-Gi-Oh to.
A lot of fun.
Yeah. So hopefully one day you can play it on a phone.
Hopefully I can. I was pretty lost in almost half of them, but listening to it is pretty interesting, even though I don't have any input.
Yeah, that's fine, of course. Alright then, I'll see you later. It was very fun talking today. Very fun talking to you in the calls earlier. I appreciate it, alright?
Thank you. Arigato gozaimasu. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, it's very, very sad, Lindoga, indeed. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and finish off these decks real quick. We're going to go and make a deck with Enna. Now, we already made RUNICK, but I'm going to make a Simorgh deck. Because Simorghs are the birds of divinity. And I guess Enna's kind of like that. Why'd I leave call, though? I don't know. Someone might join? Ah, that's fair. Okay, I'll join call. Alright then. I am gonna remain in call. Yeah, that's fair. Alright then. So if anyone else walks in, that's fine. But hey, let's make some Simorghs. Alright? They didn't have power anymore. Yeah. Phone battery kind of low. Not gonna lie. A little quirky like that. So let's go ahead and make that Simorgh deck though. Simorgh got that dog in him. So I'm just gonna swap a bunch of cards and then see whether it works. Put a couple of you, sure, you. Again, this is gonna be a little quirky, not gonna lie. Alright, and then I'm gonna go ahead and slap in some anti-spell. Everyone's running out of power. Yeah, that's true. Thank God I am plugged in. Very poggers. So the basic shtick, right, that we kinda got going through here. 1 second. I'm gonna have to add you back, and then yep birds. Apex Avian. Right? So there's a certain type of loop I'm attempting to achieve with this, but hopefully this actually works out. We'll have to get a Union Carrier into this extra deck. And then let's fill this out with some staples, yeah? So Ash. And then we can put in some copies of Maxi and then Nibiru. Nibiru right there. Then Forbidden, Kindan no Doropuretto. And then Harpies. Harpy, yes. HFD, we're gonna put in HFD. And actually, you know what? We'll put in 3 copies of Featherstorm. So, to briefly explain what I'm trying to do with this deck, there's 3 things I want to do. I want to A, pull off Harpy's Featherstorm, where if we control Wind, Winged Beast, we skill drain our opponent out of monsters if we activate the trap. I want to pull off a Simorg of Darkness lock, where, let's see, if I remember, if I IIRC, right? Okay, no, it's a different type of Simorg. Dark Simorg? Yeah, it's this one. So the lock is basically like this. This over here basically says, while face up on the field, your opponent cannot set cards, right? And anti-spell says your opponent has to set spell cards in order to activate them, right? Because you could activate, but if you activate Dark Simorg, activates anti-spell, your opponent's locked out of using both. So your opponent can't use back row. You have PTSD from Tri Brigade making Simorg to summon a wind statue. Yeah. It's kind of cringe. That's the one thing I want to try. The second thing I want to try with this deck is Harpy's Featherstorm, right? I already talked about that. Floodgate, basically. The third thing I want to achieve with this deck, though, is to make a copy of Union Carrier and Simorg Bird of Sovereignty, where Simorg Bird of Sovereignty will cheat out the Apex Avian, and Union Carrier will equip from the deck to the field a copy of the where is it? It's somewhere here. A copy of Mist Valley Thunderbird. And so the way this lock works is Apex Avian can bounce a Mist Value card in order to Omni Negate not once per turn. Now when you bounce Thunderbird, which is Mist Valley, right? It can summon itself again, not once per turn. So essentially you're perpetually looping this one card, and then you're just perpetually looping that negate. So we have 3 things. We have a Spell Trap negate lock, we have a Monster negate complete floodgate, right? And we have a perpetual Omni negate cycle. That's the whole shtick we're going for. And also we have just the Simorgs, which help facilitate swarming. We have hand traps, whatever. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to put anything else in this extra deck because I'm really lazy. So let's do a TLDR real quick for everyone. So this is, okay, let's put this in. ENNA Toxicity. So this is a VTuber deck themed after an Alouette, and it's very toxic. It features a bunch of birds, the Birds of Divinity, which is kind of like what ENNA is themed after. And the whole shtick with this deck is that we have 3 different floodgate locks that we have to achieve with this deck in order to win. The first lock is via Harpy's Featherstorm. If you activate it and control a Wind Winged Beast, it is a board-wide skill drain for your opponent. The second lock is the Simorg of Darkness anti-spell lock, where Simorg of Darkness prevents your opponent from setting cards, but anti-spell says if your opponent wants to use a spell, they have to set it. So now they're locked out of using spell cards, trap cards, so they're locked out of 2/3 of the game. Wow. And the third lock we want to achieve with this deck is the Apex Avian Mist Valley loop, where if we have Apex Avian and a copy of Mist Valley Thunderbird on the field, we can bounce the Mist Valley Thunderbird for cost for the Apex Avian's negate. And then we can summon the Thunderbird because it was bounced again, and then we can reuse that Thunderbird, bouncing it with the Apex Avian for cost for an Omni Negate again. Not once per turn, it's basically just a perpetual Omni Negate. And the way we summon both the Apex Avian and the copy of Thunderbird is by summoning a Union Carrier and a Simorg Bird of Sovereignty. Is this possible with this deck? Not very, but when it happens, it's very funny and very based. That's the deck. So that's the ENNA deck. You have 2 out of 4 for Ethyria. Now, let us proceed to make Reimu deck time. I'm feeling a little quirky, so we're gonna go with a GHOSTRICK. We're gonna make a pure GHOSTRICK deck. It's gonna be so bad. It's gonna be the funniest. Wait, when you were already doing the Apex Avian lock, wouldn't the Feather Duster just be unnecessary? You mean the Simorg lock? Yeah, the Dark Simorg lock. the Feather Duster's just there in case, right? The Feather Duster's just there. Oh wait, you mean Feather Storm? Well, the Feather Storm, you're not gonna. It's very unlikely that you're gonna get the Apex Avian lock, anyways. So the Feather Storm is just there to be like a very low effort way of doing it, right? So if you can get all 3 off, it's funny. It's not the most based, but it's funny. And yeah, it's kind of just how I planned it out basically. Let me go ahead and look up a sample deck for GHOSTRICK, because I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. Gonna look at more information. GHOSTRICK. Let's look at the pure GHOSTRICK decks. Alright, now let's go ahead and fill this deck up, right? We've got triple Jiangshi. We have double Lantern. We got one of the little ghosty boy. Spectre. 3 that mirror. Okay, it's gonna take a little bit of time to fill this out, but Alright, and then the mirror, the mummy, sorry, whatever this thing is. Yes, I already put them all in. So now it's just putting in the GHOSTRICK cards. Then we put multiple GHOSTRICK cards. Okay, yeah. GHOSTRICK. Where's GHOSTRICK Knight? Oh, I already have it. Poggers, okay. And GHOSTRICK Scare. Funniest card is still pulling off Witch's Strike. Oh my god. You know, I'm putting that in this deck. I'm putting Witch's Strike in this deck. Yep. Thank you, Lindoga. I appreciate the input. We gotta put in the most based card in existence. 1, 2, 3. And then we're gonna put in, what else are we gonna put? We're gonna put copies of, what am I thinking about? Maxi, Maximus Cius, Nib, right? And then Forbidden, drop like Kindan no Dropletto. And then we are going to look at the GHOSTRICK extract monsters and put them in. Alright, and then we're going to put in some of the Utopics. So, Utopic. We're going to put in the Utopic Future and the Utopic Draco Future. We're going to put in the Zussi. Put in the Zeus. And then put in one other extract monster. I guess I'll put in another copy of the GHOSTRICK Angel. Alright. And so the GHOSTRICK deck is made. Now, in all honesty, do I know how a GHOSTRICK deck really works? No, I just put a bunch of GHOSTRICK names in the deck and called it a day, basically, right? I know they can access an FTK, which is not in this deck. I know they can access F0. I know they have a lot of traps, and they also like being face down. That's it. I don't know how this deck works. I'm just as curious as you guys, but that's a lot of ultra rares, and I'm scared. That's the GHOSTRICK deck, I guess. Reimu. So we're going to save this. Is it competent? I don't know. But is it there? Yes. And move on to Nina. I kind of want to wrap this up quickly because I am really running my throat dry. But, Ninar. Now, Ninar is the avatar of luck. I forgot what the actual lore explanation was. Something luck, something luck. So, What exactly could we do that alludes to luck? I have to thinky thinks. Okay, gonna apply to something in Le Server, and we have to think of a Nina deck. Oh, luck, right? So gamble, yes, probably, right? Oh, I have an interesting idea. I know I'm gonna be playing a Baguska type deck, for sure. You know what? Let's think about this for a sec. I have an interesting idea. It's interesting. It's definitely a little sussy, for sure. I think what I'll do is I'll be making a Gizmek Gamble Baguska Turbo deck. So, Gizmek. Pure Gizmek, let's go. Actually, kind of Pepega. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Gizmek Orochi by far is one of the better ones. Okay, so what do the Gizmeks do, right? Yeah, sure, I guess that works. We have level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, level 6, level 7, level 8. Okay, so Gizmek Kaku seems really bad. Gizmek Okami, I'm gonna get rid of a couple of Okamis. Gizmek Orochi is the best one by far, right? Next, Gizmek Uka. Yeah, Gizmek Uka is pretty nice. Next we have Gizmek Makami. Oh, okay. That's kind of funny. We could make this GRANMAJU Baguska Gamble. Oh my god, this is the funniest deck we might have. We have Gizmek Yada. Gizmek Yada's kind of ass. We're gonna play one of them. Gizmek Arakami. Yeah, Extender. Gizmek Tanigugu. Normal summon the special summon card. You can take one machine monster whose attack equals its own defense. Okay, this is kind of ass. We're gonna play one of it. Naganaki. That's good. This turbos out the other Gizmeks. And then Gizmek Inaba. When this card is normal summoned, you can special summon a machine monster who's okay. From your hand. That's actually pretty nice. Hopping here. Inaba is nice. Next, we're gonna have to play Pot of, and we're going to be playing copies of Extrav, copies of Prosperity, and Desires, right? We have to play a large deck, so Cup of Ace, we have to be playing the most base deck in existence, right? Oh shit, actually, this is really funny. Oh, this deck is actually kind of brain stimulating, huh? Ah, this is actually such a cool idea. Wait. We have to make this like the most massive deck ever. GRANMAJU. Let's look up what a GRANMAJU deck looks like vaguely. Right? Not Gin, oh my god, no. GRANMAJU. GRANMAJU to Isa. More info. 1, 2, 3. Look at GRANMAJU OTK decks. They're like blind second decks. But oh my god, these are based. Ooh. Stromberg. Dangers. Oh. That's actually so cool. Wait, okay. So, Eater of Millions. 1, 2, 3. We'll have Dimension Shifter. Right. 1, 2, 3. We'll have danger. Okay. Gotta catch my phone up to speed real quick. So we can put in a bunch of dangers. We can put in the level 8. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And play 1, 2. How about we remove a single Uka and put in the copy of Tsushinoko? Actually, no, let's move a couple more cards. Get rid of Nessie, put in the Tsushinoko, and then we're going to remove something. Yeah, let's remove some of these sacred scrolls, right? Now, how do we make a level 4, right? GRAGMABALLS a level 3. Level 3s, level 4s, right? We need easy ways of making level 4s. So remove you and you. Photon. Right. So we're going to play some copies of Thrasher. Believe me, this deck is something. It's the deck of all time. Reinforcement of the army. Let's see, is Ray a level 4? Yeah, it is. So, oh my god, we're actually making some of the most dank shit I've ever thought of. Okay. Because of that, we have to play other Sky Strikers. No Macrocosmos Dimensional Fissure. We're not making this good, Lendoga. We're not focused on making it good. We're focused on making it funny. You remember that, Lendoga, okay? You remember. We're here to make the funnies. We're not here to make the competent. I think Ina was still good. Naganaki is slightly more questionable. Makami is also somewhat questionable, right? So we can then run a couple of Engage. We can run Hornet Drones. Where's Hornet Drones? Hornet Drones is not related. Hornet Drones. And then we can play the Field Spell too. Let's see. DD Dynamite? No, I don't have enough space for that. I don't have enough space. I am just playing the stupid, the funnies, the ha-has, you know? I'm not playing anything competent. I am just playing something that exists. Okay, now let's look at some of the extra deck monsters we have for Sky Strikers. So 1, 2, 3. Put more of you. And then we can put in Numeron Dragon. We can put Draglubia on Numeron Dragon. Oh yeah, it's coming together. Then Hope Harbinger, and then Baguska. Okay. Ninar Poggers. We did it. We made the most ridiculous deck I think I've ever thought of. Period. So, let's explain this abomination of a creation. So, Nina, she's the Lady of Luck, right? So you'd be pretty damn lucky if you won with this deck. But also, Fox Mom, right? There's a specific Gizmek card that looks like a fox, very vaguely. So that's the relation to Fox Mom. But also, this deck is so stupid, you would have to have been drunk to have made this. And guess what Nina probably is a lot of the time, and is drinking. Things that make you drunk. Wine. And also, we're playing Baguska. Now, Baguska itself looks like, oh, he's just a tired little boy. But in his OCG art, he's holding kegs of beer. He's drunk, he's got the drinkies. So does Mom. So does Nina. So does Fox Mom. And well, that's it. We're playing GRAGMABALLS Gizmek Danger Sky Striker Photon Valence Baguska Turbo. Yeah. It's the deck of all time. It's certainly something. For sure. Hey, you know what? I think we're done. We're done. We made Nina, Reimu, Selen, Petra, Enna, MILLIE, Selen, Petra, yep, Rosemi, Elira. Yeah, it's a pile. It's a pile. Yeah, big pile. It do funny thing. It do funny thing. We did Finana as well, and we did Pomu. So those were the decks of all time. Would I do this again? Maybe, with different people. Probably Luxem actually, but I would have to put more thought into it because today was a little interesting. That's really fun. I had a lot of fun teaching Chii Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, and hopefully he can play Master Duel at some point, so I can teach him how to get addicted to cardboard crack. We're cooking. We're cooking. But yeah, I had a lot of fun. My voice is kind of dying, so I'm gonna go get some tea, and I'm gonna just peace out. But hey, I appreciate whoever came to the stream. Thank you, Lindoga. Thank you, Chii, for popping up. Thank you, Green, for lurking, I think. Luna, I saw you once. Thank you. Mert, thank you for being here. Maximilian Helium, for your couple of messages. Thank you very much. We had also Kendra Lennon, the person who said hello at the beginning. Nice to see you here. Hopefully you appear for more streams. This was very fun. See ya, Lindoga. See ya, everybody. This was very fun. Adieu.